Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. The U.S. Market Update with Money FM 89.3.
Good morning. Welcome to the latest look at markets with our market wrap. And taking a look at the indexes, we've got a record high on Wall Street. The S&P 500 pushing up 0.2%, settling at 6,144. We've got the Nasdaq Composite adding 0.1%. Closing at 20,056, and we've got a Dow Jones Industrial Average up 0.2% to 44,628. For more insights, we are joined by Dilin Wu. She is the research strategist at Pepperstone. Dilin, good morning. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, Ryan. Thanks for having me back. I'm good. How are you?
Great to have you on. I'm doing good as well. Dilin, let's take a look at what's playing out in the markets, and we've got record highs again, but notably, not a lot of conviction behind the moves. What are you taking away from the latest session? What is driving markets higher?
Well, from my personal perspective, I think tariff updates is one of the important factors, but like the traders or the investors are getting tired to price in this kind of uncertainty. And, it's Trump, so we don't know if he will say something new in the next hour or in the next day. So instead of actively pricing tariff dynamics, people are taking more care of the fundamental side. So, for example, we see the U.S. economic data are still showing some strength, and we're still leading to the soft landing scenario. So I think that's one of the reasons driving the market high. And as well, I think the tech sector is outperforming. Many tech companies like NVIDIA already recovered back from the strike from the DeepSeek by the end of January. So I think that's also one of the important reasons.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a couple of things on the table here. And overnight, we got the FOMC minutes. How much did that play into the latest session? Because we've got the FOMC looking quite worried about where things are going with the tariffs having an impact on inflation.
Well, I feel like the FOMC doesn't give us much surprise information. Powell still said something like, we need to put the rate as a constraint level for a longer time, and we see the inflationary pressure. I think maybe personally speaking, won't be too worried about tariffs because that is something really hard to be priced in for a lot of traders. And obviously, Trump mentioned something like he will put tariffs on chips, autos and pharmaceuticals. But as long as we haven't received many more details about this, I won't personally price in this kind of information to my trading decision.
Okay, let's take a look at what is coming through in terms of data. And we have U.S. retail sales numbers out this week, and they plunged the most in nearly 2 years. Latest reading for January was a drop of 0.9%, and that's down sharply from December's upwardly revised 0.7% gain. What do you take away from these numbers in terms of what they're reflecting about consumer sentiment, about the U.S. economy?
Well, I think the U.S. economy delivered a mixed signal or a quite complex picture for us. As you just mentioned, we witnessed a quite sluggish retail sales, and actually consumption is one of the pillars of the U.S. economy. So it rose some concerns about the market, about the U.S. economic outlook. But from another hand, we see like a higher inflationary pressure. We see higher U.S. CPI data for January. So I feel like the FOMC meeting or the Fed is in the midpoint or is struggling to cut or to hold the rate at the current level. So I personally think we still need to see other important data like February non-farm payroll and the next U.S. CPI to get a bigger picture of the economic outlook of the U.S.
All right, talking about what's been doing well recently, you've been seeing Chinese technology shares on a bit of a bounce. What's behind the momentum?
Well, I feel like this rise is quite sustained at the moment, and I feel like it could be a sign of broader improvement in China's venture capital ecosystem. Because when it comes to AI investing, three major hurdles stand out. The first one would be access to high quality training data. The second be top tier talent for algo breakthroughs, and also massive computing power to run models. So this kind of resources have long been dominated by industry giants, making investors quite hesitant to back smaller players and limiting the growth of startups. But DeepSeek's success has changed this narrative because it has shown that breakthrough innovations in AI aren't solely dependent on computing power. Algo advancements can still drive significant progress. So this has somehow opened up new technical pathways for the industry and given early stage Chinese AI firms greater access to funding and resources. So I feel like this is really a game changer of the investment landscape in China.
All right, talking about game changers, we do have on the table NVIDIA's earnings to come next week. What are you watching out for, and what could move in terms of the ripple effects for other markets and stocks?
I feel like key things to watch for NVIDIA's earnings are basically margins, revenue, data center growth, and also forward guidance. Right now, most expect NVIDIA to easily beat its $37.5 billion sales forecast and raise guidance to somewhere between $42 to $43 billion. And management outlook on demand will also be crucial if NVIDIA somehow reaffirms its dominance and strong AI chip demand that could lift market confidence. And now NVIDIA has already filled the gap from DeepSeek's driven drop on January 27. There are reports that overseas buyers are stockpiling Hopper chips early, possibly bracing for stricter export controls if Trump give us further announcement. We're also seeing money flow back from ASIC like Broadcom and Marvell into NVIDIA's GPUs. So I also keep an eye on their comments about the upcoming Rubin GPU. But what that said, gaps tend to get filled, but what matters now is how the market reacts from here. So personally, I feel more comfortable to, adding long positions if the stock can break and hold above $142. And the big picture would be, I think if NVIDIA delivers strong results, it could lift sentiment across the entire tech sector. But beyond earnings, I feel like U.S.-China policy risks are still a major overhang. If we suddenly see new tariffs from the White House or, for example, countermeasures from China, I think that could have an even bigger impact on NVIDIA stock.
All right, very nice wrap up of what things to look out for in the markets in the coming days. We've been in conversation with Dilin Wu. She is the research strategist for Pepperstone. Dilin, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks, Ryan.
Great chatting with you. Stay on Money FM 89.3.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.